Today's First Alert afternoon weather update is brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.
Good Tuesday afternoon. First Alert meteorologist Diane Phillips joining you from the First Alert desk. Hopefully you've been able to get outside. We have a little bit of sunshine in parts of mid-Michigan. We are going to be finding though that our snow globe weather is setting up. We are going to be talking some snowflakes here at the desk, and we are going to also be talking about temperatures that are dropping because of the cold air coming in. That's why we are going to be finding that snow coming back to the First Alert forecast. So we are going to start out with the sunshine because we just don't get enough of that here during the winter season. So this is our live look here in Birch Run. You're going to see that we still have some cloud cover around, but I'm taking every moment of sunshine as I can get here. So we are just going to kind of soak that in while we can. This isn't though the consistent look for everybody, because when we look at our pinpoint Doppler, we are finding that we still have some of those remnants that are just now leaving the thumb. The rain and snow showers really haven't been adding up to all that much. So kind of that first round that came through, we still picked up on still some wet weather, but it necessarily wasn't really causing any accumulations of snow or really slowing us down on our roadways. Behind it though, you'll see that we still have quite a bit of cloud cover into the thumb. But the reason why we are seeing some of that more sunny setup coming in towards Bay City, Saginaw, towards Hemlock, coming in through Chesaning, Owasso, is that some drier air that's kind of feeding into the system, and that is kind of limiting that cloud cover too. So we call that our dry slot. So even in our storm here, you're going to see that that setup does allow, maybe we'll see, but it still just allows for a little bit of that system to kind of sit further north, but we have then that drier air that wraps around. So it really does kind of set up here to where the drier air kind of comes in, and then we kind of continue to see it kind of circulate back because the center of the low itself is actually kind of pivoting into northern lower. So that's why we are still picking up on some rain and some snow showers there, and that's also bringing us some snow showers across Roscommon, Ogama, and even Iosco counties. So we'll really kind of be watching our northern tier of counties for any of the rain and snow mixture still for the afternoon and evening. But the majority of our rainfall that we picked up earlier, besides a little bit of a drizzle, we're in pretty good shape to kind of have that starting to dry out. We'll just kind of see for even a little bit of lake effect trying to come off of this system. Even kind of zooming up a little bit further, you are going to see that we do still have kind of the bulk of this system coming through with the rain and snow towards the Traverse City, Petoskey area, but we are going to find that still some of those outer bands can kind of get a little bit of a play with the lake. So it's just those conditions that we are watching for on our pinpoint Doppler. So that's just something that we're going to continue to track here for the next couple of hours, but a lot of us are going to be wrapping up with kind of that wet weather. Here's also a look at our winds. Those have really kind of picked up as the system has moved closer. Typically as the center of the low, you find that you of course have increased winds surrounding it. So we are going to have those wind gusts around 39 miles per hour. That was kind of a peak wind gust in Saginaw, so that's kind of been one of the higher ones we've seen so far today. 29 in Owasso, 25 in Flint, 24 in Alma, and 31 in Mount Pleasant. And then 25-mile-per-hour winds in Houghton Lake and 22 for Port Hope and West Branch. So the winds have definitely kind of picked up now that the system is continuing to push through. I actually believe this should be our Mount Pleasant camera. So it doesn't look like the trees are shaking all that much. When I was kind of checking in here earlier, we had some rain and some snow that was coming through on campus. There was actually just quite a few people who were walking through, kind of getting to those 2 o'clock classes. But it looks like hopefully a lot of them are there, maybe just a couple of stragglers, or they're just kind of getting out of the class a little bit later. But we are finding a little more cloud cover here than the sunny skies that we were seeing in Birch Run. It feels like temperatures are also kind of hanging a little bit below. We are finding those sitting into the upper 20s, lower 30s. We're currently at 29 for feels like temperature in Saginaw, 32 in Flint, 29 in West Branch, 30 degrees in Port Hope. So a lot of these feels like temperatures are going to kind of maintain below the air temp just because we have a breezy forecast for the rest of today and also into tomorrow. So that's what we're going to be kind of dealing with, is that extra kind of bite into the air as we go through the next couple of days. So that's just what we're going to kind of be having to tolerate. So some winter coats, gloves, and when we start talking about some snow, it'll definitely make sense for us to be looking at maybe a little bit more of a winter kind of setup for us here. Also, I'm going to try to pull up our downtown Saginaw camera And that should also have a little bit of sunshine on it too. So yeah, you can see here the sun is trying to kind of fight through those clouds, but overall we are finding that we still have quite a bit of cloud cover. So if you have some sun, enjoy it while we have it. It's always welcomed here during the months of January and February. Air temperatures actually warming up. We had a little bit of snow still left on the grass there at the Jolt Event Park, so that's going to help these air temperatures to kind of melt that away. But we will have a snow refresh when we look at those snow chances. But for now, we are finding our air temperatures upper 30s, lower 40s. This is going to be the warmest day here of this week, and then tomorrow we have those temperatures that start to drop. So though we are at 40 degrees for Flint, Saginaw, 45 in Mount Pleasant, see, that's the place to be even with the cloud cover, though. They're taking advantage, getting some of that warmer air in. We have 37 from Caseville to Harbor Beach through Bad Axe down towards Marlette, and then we are at 37 for Houghton Lake and West Branch. So we have some 40s, but still those upper 30s. Not too bad here for the afternoon. So it is going to be pretty tolerable for after school time frame. We are going to be looking at our temperatures still to be into the upper 30s, lower 40s. This has a little more cloud cover coming in, and kind of with that system pivoting through, I am really worried that this window of sunshine is going to be short-lived. But again, any minutes that we can grab of some daylight, we're going to take it because that cloud cover can really just kind of linger on here through the season. We're also going to be finding our winds are still a little bit breezy here as we go through the afternoon and evening. Now, though we do have some snow in the forecast, I am going to take a super quick break, and in about 60 seconds we're going to be back. We're going to be talking about the snow and also the locations that are under that winter storm watch. So we have a lot of snowy details to break down, so stick with us. We're going to be right back. All right, we are back. So let's talk right about those snowy details, because I saw a lot of you were saying, hey, what's the weather for tomorrow? So kind of stick with us here. We're going to break it all down. We're going to make sure that you have all the info that you need before we let you go this afternoon. But it looks like we have quite a winter forecast here. So you're probably saying, which one of these is the big one? It's got to be Wednesday. We're at 60%. We are considering coverage, timing, but none of these are actually a gigantic low pressure system that comes in and it brings multiple inches of snow. We're not really looking at that. We're looking at lake effect that just gets stuck in the on position. So we are going to be finding that actually our percentages for today, we can start to bring that back now that that system's pushing through. We are at that 60% for tomorrow because of the lake effect, and then still even to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that is all lake effect. We have cold air coming in. The Great Lakes still have a lot of room for us to be making some snow off of them, because even when we look at ice, we have seen some ice growth. We haven't had a ton of it, but it's not like the Great Lakes are iced over. And actually that coverage amount, I believe that is older. So let me take that off of the map here, because I don't believe that that has actually been updated since the last time we pulled this up. Whoop. Don't want to see that. So we are going to find, though, that we do still have quite a bit of ice that has developed in some parts, but Lake Michigan is pretty much wide open. So when we are looking at northerly winds and even northwesterly winds, that's just going to continue to set up for us to be looking at lake effect here for the next couple of days. Let's start out, though, with that winter storm watch. So we just got the text messages in. And this is coming in from the National Weather Service. So this is going to start, and I do want to just verify the start time to make sure everybody has that correct information. So this is going to start tomorrow at 3 p.m. So the 14th at 3 p.m. for Sanilac and Huron counties. And then this is going to go until 9 a.m. on Thursday. So this is going to be our winter storm watch. This is mainly because we are going to be looking at snow totals that can really get elevated because of that lake effect banding. So we are going to be watching kind of east of M53 and then north of M46 to kind of be in that zone to where we can have some of those localized totals that are around 5-6 inches in this forecast. And also winds are going to be elevated. We had been talking about how the winds have already picked up today. We're still going to have some strong winds for tomorrow. So when we're talking wind and all of that snow, all of that lake effect coming through, not necessarily an easy setup for doing too much out there, but especially for driving, it's not going to be easy. So because we have that wind criteria kind of reaching, and also we're getting close to some of those amounts on snow, that's why they did go with the winter storm watch. So again, that is going to be for Huron and Sanilac counties. So we're really going to be watching the thumb as we go into the hour by hour. So as we start off for the next couple of hours, we will be watching for those rain and some snow showers across Roscommon, Ogama, Iosco counties, and still a couple of stray snowflakes and raindrops can still wrap around on the backside. You can see them populating closer towards Big Rapids, so we can have them coming in for us as well. So those can kind of move through during the night. We start to set up that wind shift. So that's going to allow for our winds to come out of the northwest. We'll see those snow showers here for a while. We'll continue to see some cloud cover, and in between those snow showers are going to be in place. So we're just going to continue to kind of have that lake effect develop. So that sets up during the night as that wind direction starts to change. And then the cold air also is going to start to roll in pretty early too. Throughout the day, we're just going to have that cold air working its way over the waters. So that's why it's going to be kind of on and off with the scatteredness of lake effect. It'll kind of be like a snow globe. You go, pick it up, you shake it, we have snow, and then it gets set, and then you set it down, and then we don't really have a lot of snow going. So we're going to kind of be with that on and off. So that's why I'm kind of been going with some snow globe weather here throughout your Wednesday. Now, as we go into the Wednesday evening time frame, you can actually see, and I want to kind of pull it back because that winter storm watch starts at 3 o'clock here. So you really kind of have that band that pushes through. So that's where we find that kind of sitting there. So that's why across here on Sanilac County, you have that banding there, and that's just going to continue to kind of sit there. So the lake is going to enhance that. We have that that energy that's kind of coming through for that to set up. So we really don't see kind of wind direction and kind of that pivot point until we get towards the middle of tomorrow morning. So really kind of Wednesday night going into Thursday, we're going to be watching across here on Sanilac County for a lot of that snow to set up. For school districts that are in here on Sanilac counties and maybe even northern Tuscola County, especially eastern Tuscola County, kind of keep an eye to conditions for Thursday morning. Just if you're maybe some parents and you got to have that backup plan if there isn't any school, I would just kind of have that tentatively set up just because 6 inches during the night is a lot of snow to kind of pick up, and it's a lot for road crews. And then with the wind kind of blowing it around, that means some blowing and drifting, and that's always not welcomed on rural roadways. So that's kind of the setup that is going to maybe have some impacts for us across here on Sanilac counties. Now, the further west you go, you'll actually see that there's not too much weather happening. I'm actually going to peel this back throughout the day on Wednesday. Though we still have the scattered snow showers for many of us in mid-Michigan, we are going to find going into Thursday that a lot of that lake effect does only come across the thumb. So further west along 75 westward, you're going to see that we even don't have a lot of cloud cover. So maybe, just maybe, we can have some sunshine going into Thursday. I'm going to be optimistic and hopefully get some of that in. But it is going to be very much a variable setup on where that lake effect goes. But then other locations are not going to have too many issues. Now, as we look at our snow predictor here, this is going to carry us through Wednesday night at midnight. So this is still as we're picking up snow into the thumb. But this isn't going to include what we pick up all day Tuesday, which is not going to be a whole lot like at this point, and then going into Wednesday with some snow showers. So you can find that a lot of us are going to be at an inch or less. I do want to point out here towards eastern Genesee County, so Otisville, Davison, and then coming in towards Lapeer County, we kind of have some of those dark gray showings. We can have some of those lake effect snow bands coming out of that northwest direction that can kind of stack up, get us closer to that inch mark. So we are going to find that overall we're not picking up on a lot of snow, but you still can have some isolated spots with those lake effect bands to where we can see more snowfall from it. As we look towards the thumb, though, you are going to see we have that 2 to 3 inches there, and again, that is going to start to pick up because we still have snow that's going to come in through the night and last into Thursday morning. So as we kind of pick that up here, you can see that coming in towards Sandusky. I don't want to start to bring in that Friday system yet, but we are tracking the system for Friday. First off, though, while we are looking at lake effect, I'm happy to see some of the models coming down. However, you will see, and I'm wondering if I can, nope, I can't zoom in here for you, but If you see a little bit closer towards the shoreline, we have some darker blue dots that are setting up. So we still can have some isolating kind of localized spots where we get around 5-6 inches. So that's why we have that winter storm watch for Huron and Stanislaus counties, is because we have the correct amount of snow, but also the wind component's going to be there for blowing and drifting and also reduced visibilities. So that's what we're going to be watching within this setup. Let's talk about the wind in the forecast, because today those winds have picked up a little bit. So we are going to be finding that the wind speeds are still going to be around 30 to 35 miles per hour. As we get closer towards your evening plans, they settle down a little bit. They are still fairly strong though, coming through the thumb. So you can see Port Hope, we're at about a 36 mile per hour wind gust, 32 in Bad Axe. Those winds are going to try to pick up once again as we have that front that starts to pass through. So we will find going into tomorrow morning, we'll have winds around 25 to 30 miles per hour. It is going to be a chilly start at the bus stop, because temperatures are still going to be below freezing, but then our temperatures will continue to drop and the winds will just stay consistent. So we will have those winds throughout the day that are going to be around 25 to 30 miles per hour, and even some higher wind gusts around 30 to 40 miles per hour. I really just can't rule them out with this setup. So it is going to be very windy going into our Wednesday. And you can still see that the winds going Wednesday night are still elevated. 40 mile per hour wind gusts in Port Hope, and even 34 in Bad Axe with that snow coming down. That is not going to be welcomed for a lot of folks. So we are going to continue to kind of monitor here throughout Huron, Stanislaus counties, because that wind just stays elevated through the morning until this whole system finally kind of shifts that wind direction a little bit better. So we will be seeing that for a lot of folks on Thursday, that the winds do start to settle down, but it'll just take a little bit longer to get that relief coming in towards the thumb. Now, I do also want to talk about temperatures tomorrow, because actually we are going to find that where we sit tonight is going to actually be our high temperature. So we're going to hit Wednesday's high temp in the morning, and then it's just going to get cold from there. So we are going to continue to see those fall into the 20s, into the teens. So that's going to be a cold day. You're going to want to make sure that you're bundled up. If you're maybe going to be running some errands or just getting the kids ready for school, just make sure that they are prepared, that the bus ride home is going to be a lot chillier than it is in the morning, but still wind chills are going to be cold. So it's just easier to kind of bundle up hats, gloves, coats. That's just the best way to stay a little bit more comfortable. But again, temperatures do fall throughout the day on Wednesday, and we will be watching for those snow showers to come in. When we look at our 7-day forecast, we are going to be finding that our temperatures really do cool down. We do have that falling arrow for Wednesday. We have the scattered snow showers that we're going to be watching for. Going into Thursday, we do have that snow chance for the thumb, and that's mainly going to be into the morning. And then we do have, with that cold air coming in, just some scattered snow showers. Our next best system, kind of best push of snow, is going to be on Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday, we are still looking at some scattered snow showers. We are even watching for Monday. It is MLK Day. So for a lot of activities and events that are going on, keep an eye to this forecast. We still have a lot of wiggle room getting out into that, just because we have so much action that's coming in ahead of that. So I really kind of want to get the forecast ironed out here in the short term, and then into the long term, though, we're really going to be keeping an eye, knowing that a lot of people could potentially be outside, temperatures be in the upper teens with some snow coming through, so it might be a little bit uncomfortable with that winter weather coming in. But you can see here we got snow for many of the days ahead. That cold air is also going to be coming through. We'll have some highs upper teens, just in the 20s. Friday, when we do have kind of that push of snow, we do see a burst getting us up to 30s, but also overnight temperatures are going to be pretty chilly. You'll see Wednesday night we fall towards about 8 degrees, and still a lot of our nights ahead are going to be into the teens. So that's where we are going to be finding a pretty chilly forecast. This is just a good reminder for folks to download the First Alert Weather app. So this is free to download. You are going to be finding that we do have that app available on Google Play and the Apple App Store. So if you have Android or Apple, there's always both locations that you can kind of get that info at. And so just make sure that you have that going. Of course, we'll be sending some updates throughout as the system comes through. I actually had the app remind me that we, one, had the live stream going, but also of that winter storm watch when that was issued from National Weather Service. So some pretty good info that you can get there, and we are going to be Of course, keeping an eye on that winter storm watch that we have throughout Sanilac and Huron counties. Of course, Chris will be back here tonight at 9 o'clock. He's going to have the latest on that forecast and, of course, any updates that we have for the thumb. But in the meantime, we are going to find that our forecast for today is pretty quiet. If you have some sunshine, enjoy it while you have it, and then just be prepared for those snow showers coming in. Even if it is a light snow here through the next couple of days, it still can cause those roadways to be slippery. So make sure that you're driving with caution here through the next 7 days. But thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time here this afternoon, and we look forward to seeing you a little bit later.
Thank you for joining us. Today's stream has been brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.